Hello. Thanks for tuning in today to the amazing KetoMom community. And all the fellows out there, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. My name is Steve Milkey, and I'm here with the one, the only, my lovely wife, the greatest female on the planet, Stephanie Milkey.
That was
AKA KetoMom.
a big introduction. Good
It's
morning,
gonna be a great
good
day.
afternoon, good evening, whatever time you're listening.
Today we're going to talk about willpower. I'm super fired up. I've had my ketones. I'm ready to go.
He is
Stephanie,
fired
are you
up.
ready?
Yes.
This is a great topic.
We're talking about the willpower, starting with creatures of habit. We're going to dive into habits real quick and then get to the willpower. And so if you don't know, we go through a book every single morning. We're going through the compound effect. It's an incredible book to help you compound your small, teeny, tiny choices every single day to help them grow into really great habits. That's basically what we're doing.
All right, so compounding habits. When you compound habits, you stack those habits, you will have a more impactful life.
All right, so we don't read the whole book to you. We pull out a couple golden nuggets. We want you to think about it, ponder on it, take action on it later today. So
we kind of talk through it,
right.
Come up with a game plan. How can you apply it to your life? It's all good.
Right. Okay, so we'll start with what we repeatedly do. That doesn't even make sense. Sometimes I only underline one sentence because I think it's great.
You know what? Is it Monday? It's Monday.
It is Monday.
It might be Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever you're listening to this, but we got this. All right, what's the first thing?
We're talking about habits.
Creatures of habit.
All right, how about this? 90% of everything that we feel, think, do, and achieve is a result of learned habits. Good or bad?
It's true. I think it says 95% in the book, but I also know this, that 90% of life is also showing up. And so you're here, right, and you're going to get some habits, you're going to get some thoughts that are honestly going to impact the way that you think.
Right. So how about this? A daily routine builds on good habits is difficult, and it separates most people from successful people to non-successful people. Here's the deal. We've gone through books like Atomic Habits. What is the most popular saying in Atomic Habits that... Why are you drinking my ketones? You had yours right there.
I know, they're so good. Keep going.
You just messed me up.
I opened it for you, actually. I wanted you to have this because I thought she needed some mom fuel this morning. All right, hey, how many of you have ever faced adversity?
Messing my morning up.
She asked me to be a part of this.
Our morning didn't actually start off great.
Well, I did.
It actually started off with bad news.
I heard the alarm, popped right out of bed, went straight to the red light. I did, honestly.
Well, I know, I heard you.
Your alarm is to roll over.
I have to even out
my
insides. You have to
even out the insides. Whatever that even means.
Get some real life. Well,
so
I always sleep on one side, and when my alarm clock goes off, I like to roll over to the other side to make sure all of my organs adjust to where they need to be before I get up. It's very serious.
As you can probably tell, there's a difference in energy level today. But here's what I'm excited about is that as soon as she's done drinking this, she'll be on a whole nother level. And it probably didn't approach her the greatest.
He told me I had to come on early because he has to leave to go get his arm fixed.
I know. Any of you who know me know I've had some challenges with my arm, and so I get an opportunity to go get it fixed again today. I say all that just to say, I woke up this morning, had 22 emails, and it was crazy. It's adversity. In the past, it told me I was just going to have a frustrating day. But now when I know I'm facing adversity, have any of you ever faced adversity in anything in life? I know this, that when you have adversity, I should not have started the day because I actually approach it differently. I
didn't approach it bad.
Well, you didn't really say much, which said everything.
I was processing.
Right, and it's okay to process. I think that's great. We basically imagine if you just gave away $2,000 to stuff and then they take it all back.
No, you actually sell something and then PayPal decides they're going to take it all back, even though you sent out the product.
It's probably connected somehow to this, and they might try to block this. But the reality is, we had the opportunity to gift out $2,000 worth. We had the
opportunity.
So I got to figure out how to fix this.
To work on our EQ, basically, is what we had to do.
But I do know this: when you face adversity, as long as you push through it, you're going to break through to a new idea, a new thought. A new concept, and that's what I'm actually really excited about, is to figure out how I can take this and take it to create something even better.
Okay. So with all of that,
that was a total rant.
No, that's great. So I did not come on with the right mindset, but now we're going to dive into habits. So he's going to basically talk about the power of habits. If you've been tuning in for any period of time, we've gone through the book Atomic Habits. We've gone through the Miracle Morning, almost every personal development book,
They're all hiding back
any
here.
book
Yep.
that you are going to go through that's going to help grow you. It's going to walk you through and it's going to ask you about your habits, good or bad, right? The little things you do every single day that move you forward. You have a really great saying. It comes from the Atomic Habits book. What is it?
Well, Jennifer, we're on page 55.
Oh.
But the
You don't
the
rise.
quote,
Yeah.
you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems.
Right. So systems, he says, with enough practice and repetition, any behavior, good or bad, becomes automatic over time. What that means is that even though we develop most of our habits unconsciously, we can consciously decide to change them. It stands to reason that since you learned every habit you have, you can also unlearn them. So he's going to talk about unlearning habits as well.
I feel like that's super powerful, and there's a whole sentence she missed.
In the
Because I think we
quotation
don't talk
marks.
about this. So, like, how do you even come up with unconscious habits? How would you answer that question? And it tells us right here.
Do you want to read it?
I just think it's powerful. Most people don't talk about this stuff,
Right.
but it's probably because of your parents. It's how you were raised. It's your environment. It's your cultural associations. It's how you cope with challenges or opportunities like we
Right.
were faced today. Like, I could sit on the pity potty all day. I could be mad at PayPal, and I could think to myself, like, you just took a lot of money from our family, and I'm extremely frustrated. The reality is now I just have to dig down. I have to work a little harder. I have to flip my mindset, change my habits, and figure out something new.
Well, it's not really a habit that we did. We're working through an adversity. That's not a habit. We're working through our EQ, which we've talked about on here before, of something that was taken from you or something in your day that doesn't go well. And how we handle that is we could easily go, we're going to go to McDonald's. We need some breakfast. And we actually don't have any groceries because we've been gone for a week. And actually prior to that, it was almost 2 weeks. So why don't we just go grab a waffle or a McMuffin?
Sounds terrible.
What I'm saying is how things
so
affect
much
you
meat
in
in the
your
freezer.
day, how things affect you in your day either cause you to react or not react in life. And everybody has things that comes up.
That's true.
So like, are you going to eat away your emotions? Like, would this cause you to like get so frustrated in the morning that you're like, screw it, I'm going to go do whatever I want this morning.
I don't know. I can't tell. What are you going to do today?
I'm going to have a great day.
That's right.
He doesn't seem like it because like the first news I got was that. So I was like, all right. He's like, we got to go live. I was like, all right. What are we talking about? All right.
Exactly.
Not have to. We don't get to.
Now I know.
We have to.
Next time I
No,
wake up to bad
get to.
news, I got to approach it differently. But I would also say, like, a habit, a part of like how we process and build our businesses
Yeah.
is a habit because it's a system, like we
Right.
just talked about. There's a system that we have that we've created, but there's a kink in the system.
There's a
and I
kink.
got to fix it. I get to fix it.
Okay. I actually think this is great. So if you can stand strong for like 2 paragraphs, I love how he says this. He says, start by thinking your way out of instant gratification. This is super powerful. I'm going to read it to you because it's actually
So good.
really great. So he says, we understand that scarfing a Pop-Tart down won't slenderize our waistline. We realize that logging 3 hours of sleep hours at night watching Netflix or scrolling through social media leaves us 3 few hours to read a good book or listen to a terrific audio program, podcast, right? We get that merely purchasing great running shoes doesn't make us a marathon runner. We're a rational species, at least that's what we tell ourselves. So why are we so irrational, enslaved by so many bad habits? It's because our need for immediate gratification can turn into the most reactive, non-thinking animal around us. He says, here's another thing. Keep listening. It's super great. I don't usually read so much. I usually give you one-liners, but like I read this morning and I loved it. We got kids waking up.
We have 4 daughters.
If you took a bite of a Big Mac, this is great. Listen to this. If you took a bite of a Big Mac and instantly fell to the ground, clenching your chest with a heart attack, you might not go back for that second bite, right?
Don't do that.
If you next puffed a cigarette instantly and mutated your face into that weathered 85-year-old chances you'd never take a puff of a cigarette ever again.
I watched a video yesterday where someone was pouring lava on a Big Mac and it wasn't actually burning the burger. It just sat there.
Gross.
Can you imagine? And then you try to think your digestive enzymes can break it down. Wow.
If you failed to make the 10th call today and were immediately fired and bankrupt, suddenly picking up the phone would be a no-brainer, like in your work ethic, right?
So it says if like some of these choices and habits, if they were immediate, these would be the result of not doing them every day.
Right. And if that first forkful of cake instantly put 50 pounds on your frame,
I think that happens.
saying no thank you to dessert,
I think that happens.
Would be the true piece of cake. Basically, he says this, like when you do all of those things, it gives you an instant gratification. You love the Big Mac, the cake, or buying the running shoes. Any of these things create, is it called endorphins?
Yeah. Yep.
In your brain,
The
right?
happy sauce.
But when you do it, it doesn't create that instant 50 pounds or all of the things he explained. So what we have to do is kind of reverse engineer it.
To be expected.
You love that word.
Reverse engineer things. I do. I
Yeah.
do. This is super powerful.
It is powerful.
I hope y'all got that. And if you didn't, just watch the replay, listen to it again, or just rewind back.
Or go get
2
your
minutes.
book. Page 55.
No, according to our CEO, I would not support this.
Stop.
This is
book.
great. This is great content.
Okay, it's time to wake up.
Yeah, I like that. You ready?
I'm ready.
She's ready.
And realize that the habits that you indulge in could be compounding your life into a disaster.
Oh, she's back. I like this. Here, have one more drink. This is great.
So, a single poor habit, which doesn't look like much in the moment, can ultimately lead you miles off course. I'm going to give you want to explain what this example, because you understand this, right? And I'm going to show them.
I have not. I've chosen not to read this book because I'm letting my wife guide me through it. And you just get my raw comments.
Do you want to explain the 1% better, 1% worse? I've explained it, but I talk about it all the time.
Well, I mean, every day you have opportunities and
I'll drink
choices
my
have
mom
consequences. I think that's great. You do that.
Really brain fuel.
And if you want to get it and not pay us through PayPal, you can do that. Just hit trial down below. We'll figure out another payment method. Just kidding. Okay, so 1% better, 1% worse. I would say this. Every day you have the opportunity. It's kind of like what you talked about. You can keep eating the Big Macs. You're not going to see that. You're not going to see the weight gain.
You're not going
right
to see
away.
the weight gain overnight.
You can eat
Same
the
with
cake
the cake
right
or the
away.
donuts.
You're not going to see the weight
Buying
gain.
the shoes doesn't get you to the gym.
At the same time, getting to the gym is not going to drop those 50 lbs, right? It is about these habits, these
ones.
daily rituals. Every day. And over the course of time, you're going to end up somewhere, but very few people end up somewhere on purpose. We are going to be people filled with purpose. Say that again.
Purpose. That was good. Everybody ends up somewhere.
But few end up somewhere on purpose. But luckily,
Guys,
we
that was
are
a good
part
quote.
of the few that will end up somewhere on purpose because we are intentional.
Being mindful.
We're being mindful. We're being intentional. We're building our habits. We have the awareness. We have the awareness to know, all right.
If you've been here long enough, you have an awareness of the choices you make every single day. You have to because you listen to us.
This is going to work for me. This is not going to work.
Right.
Like, right now, like we've talked about this. We've identified some things that
this morning
we're
we had to go like this. We're not going to eat our emotions even though we're not very happy.
Actually, sometimes when stuff like this happens, it makes me want to just work harder. That's why I really don't want to go get my arm worked on. I just want to go to work, put my hand to the plow, make some stuff happen. Like I'm ready. I'm actually feeling really good about today. And I honestly think this. I think I was woken up with bad news because
we made a crazy decision yesterday.
We did. We have decided to plant some seeds into something that is more of a legacy project for our kids. And I'm super proud of it. And the reality is, it's like today we got stone cold block wall from the enemy.
And every time you decide to make a choice in your life, isn't it funny how like if you're like, yep, I'm going to do this draw line in the sand today. I'm not going to eat the donut. I'm going to go to the gym. And something comes up and goes, let's see if you're strong enough to actually do it.
Yep.
Will you actually commit? You guys, you can expect it. When adversity comes up, like this morning, actually I didn't tell you this, but he came in, we really didn't talk. It was like, he told me what happened. I got the book out, recapped what we were going to read. And I legitimately sat for a second and I said, all right, God, like we made a big decision yesterday as a family. Like we made
She actually cried yesterday. I saw it. She says the tears didn't come out, but they did.
And if you've been following me along for a while, I'm not a big crier.
And if you're brand new, just know this. Like, in our household, we have 4 girls.
Technically, it didn't count because they stayed in my eye sockets and I caught them before they fell down my face.
Yeah, but we did. We made a big decision.
So what happens when you decide and you're focused and you make a decision is something's going to come up to try to stop you. So as you were telling me that news, I went,
To be expected.
the enemy's trying to stop us. He's trying to get us frustrated. He's trying to say, hey, I don't think you should do that. Or to make us go, hey, we change our mind.
Yeah.
We're not going to.
And that's why I want to encourage you today that no matter where you're at, what you're doing in life,
Right.
if you have made the choice, because last week we talked about tracking things. Like, I've got my fitness pal going strong. Yesterday was a victorious day, right? I will say this. The day that we went to Universal last week, we ended the night at Chocolate Emporium. I didn't even eat that much ice cream, but it was an accumulation of just sugar throughout the day. I didn't feel good. And that night, can I just be honest with them?
Yeah, well, I think if people want to know, like, you in the past love sugar and now you're conquering the...
So 12:43, I woke up and I thought to myself, I think I'm having a heart attack. I honestly felt that way. And then I tried to wake Stephanie up because I had this intense pain in my chest.
It happens when he eats too much sugar.
It does. And I was like, Stephanie, and she wasn't waking up.
Totally
So I realized
snoring,
this.
I'm sure I was totally sleeping.
No, you weren't snoring. But
I
I
was
thought
peacefully
this to myself. I thought, you know what? If I go, I'm so happy. I've lived an amazing life. And I'm super thankful for my family. And I felt that peace.
Do you feel like that? Okay, so I want to see what you say. I want to see if that changed your outlook on what you're going to make next choices.
Yeah. Here's why. Because this is the whole point of all of it. When your why is for the right reason. So, like, while I had a lot of peace, I knew what it was. I knew what it was from. It was from poor choices of consuming too much sugar, right? And in that moment, I told myself, I never want to be here again. So I vowed to myself that no matter what, I am going to. And now there's going to be moments. There's going to be moments where you mess up. So Don't hear me. Like, there's going to be times where you're going to, for me, I'll probably, on a birthday, I'll probably eat whatever that celebration dessert is, right? But I'm not choosing a lifestyle of sugar. I know what I need to do, and I'm going to put it into play because my why is big enough.
And it's not like you eat a ton of sugar, but like when we go on vacation or you're presented with it and you eat it, it just doesn't react. Like, you just feel like garbage.
And it's like, how many times?
It's like, I could not feel well. I actually didn't drink all those sugary things. But what you did,
super proud of you.
It wasn't even that. It was like your body, like everybody's body, we talk on here and I'm like, everybody's bodies are different. So like, I probably could have eaten what he ate, but I didn't. And I don't know if it would have affected me that way. But anytime you consume something, it affects you differently, and people need to understand that everybody's bodies are different. And so it's not even like a little bit, you have to just be done.
I really do. So as a promise I made to myself, it's a promise that in my mind, that moment when I honestly thought I am going and I had peace.
You were doing good for a long time.
Yeah, it was just, I was in an environment where sugar was flowing.
Okay, so let's say this, because people, I know people on here, ebb and flow, up and down, have dealt with it, have come back, have fell off the wagon, have come back. Have you ever experienced this before?
Yes.
Okay, so like, we're not perfect, you guys, but he understands what he needs to do.
She pretty much is.
That's not true.
It almost is.
That's not.
I think so.
I'm not true. It's not true. Anyways. But what I want you to understand is, like, it's something that Steve knows, and I think he just drew a line in the sand this weekend, and it was like, okay, I have to be done because I just don't feel good.
Sometimes you just have to be reminded. You have to be shaken a little bit.
Right.
And that's the unfortunate part, because I wish, like, we talk to our kids about this, like, we've been blessed enough to have great mentors.
Right.
Because of great mentors, we haven't had to face a lot of the negative experiences in life because we've learned from other people's mistakes.
Right.
We say this often, like, you can learn from anybody. There is anybody you can learn from. You can learn from the person you really look up to because you can actually heed their advice. Then there's some people where you're like, I don't ever want to do anything because I see the fruit of their life or I see where they're at. But guess what? You can learn from them. You can get the advice and you can say, I will never do that.
Or all you have to do is watch them and go, I will never do that.
I will never do that.
Right.
At the same time, try not to judge people where they're at because you just never know. Maybe something happened to put them in that position.
You can judge. You don't have to judge people, but you can listen to their words and go, I'm never going to do that.
I do like that saying, like, take off your black coat. Stop judging
Take
people.
off your black robe.
Take off your black robe. Stop
You're
judging
not a judge.
people. I agree.
You don't know people's backgrounds for sure.
It's true.
All right.
I didn't mean that to get so deep, but I hope that makes sense.
Okay, here's
All
what
right,
I
so
want
what's
you to
up with
look
this
at.
airplane?
1% better, 1% worse. So the power of small adjustments, a 1% change in
now.
course
Yes.
results in being 150 miles off. So he's just saying this. If you guys look at the screen and see the airplane, he started in, where is he at?
I thought we were just starting from Los Angeles.
Los Angeles, and the
flying.
goal was New York, right? This is the same with habits. 1% better every single day or 1% worse. Let's say this is a course of a year. If this is
good.
This is a course of a year. If the pilot shifts 1%, he's either going to end up in, what does that say?
It says Albany, New York.
He's either going to end up in Albany, New York, or Delaware. That's 1%. It's teeny tiny shift, but if he does that, he doesn't even hit the target that he wants. It's the same thing in your life. Like every single day, you've got to think to yourself, 1% better, 1% worse. If I eat this, is it going to be 1% better, 1% worse? Because remember, that bite isn't instant gratification. It isn't Insta-pounds. But over the course of a year, it will be.
I like that.
It will be.
That's really
right?
cool.
So over the course of a year, those teeny little bites and those teeny little things will get you way off course, or going to the gym, making the better choices will get you stronger. Basically is what it is.
So good.
1% better every day.
1% better.
I don't go to the gym, 1% worse. I decided to go to the gym, 1% better. I'm not going to see the result either way. You're going to feel sore, but you're not going to get the insta fat loss.
Insta fat loss.
We should do something with that word. I like that.
I know, it all does add up. I like that.
Okay,
You're
I'll
right,
say one
Carrie.
more thing.
It all adds up.
So basically he says this. He says, here's the deal.
Oh, he says that
Well,
too?
he doesn't.
I
I
thought
say
you
it
were
all
the
the
only
time.
person who said,
I
"Here's
know.
the deal."
I don't know.
Here's the deal. You're about to get
He
smacked
says,
with some truth.
when you're having trouble doing the hard work of achieving your goals, it's common behavior. Simply, people will say, it's just lack of willpower. I actually said that to Steve many times. He'll be like, please get the food out of the house. This was years ago when he was doing the diet without us even having a keto drink.
Get me out of Universal. There's too
And
much
you know what I would
butterbeer
say?
all over the
Just
place.
have some willpower. And he'd be like, I can't. And I'm like, buck up, buddy.
Yeah.
Have some willpower.
Yeah.
And the author says, well, listen.
Oh, listen.
He doesn't say, here's the deal.
Stephanie said that to herself.
It's not enough to choose to be successful. What's going to keep you consistent with the new positive choices you need to make? What is going to make you keep those positive choices? What's going to help you every day? He says it's not the willpower.
Yes.
It is, he says, forget about the willpower. It's time for your why power. Your choices are only meaningful when you connect them to the desire and your dreams.
See, that's exactly why I did that the other night. At
The
12:42.
wisest and most motivating choices are the ones aligned with which you already identify your purpose.
There you go. Have you
Your
identified
core
your purpose?
self, your highest values. You've got to want something and know why you want it, or you'll end up giving up too easily. Your why power.
I, Steve Milky, will be in the best shape of my life by May 21st, 2022. And on that day,
21st.
rip off my shirt and give Stephanie a hug.
You guys, he says this all the time. Just so you know, you're
do.
in great shape.
Thanks.
Okay, why power?
But I would challenge you to think about that. Have you identified your purpose? Have you identified your core self? Have you identified your highest values? Do you know what those are? Because if you don't, thank you, Nissy, for the stars. Those are going to an orphanage in Honduras. Thank you for that. But if you have not identified those things, you're going to be just wandering through life. You're going to constantly probably be making the 1% worse choice.
Right.
But if you identify those, at least you have your North Star. You have an idea of like where you're headed, and that's going to help you stay on purpose, stay on point.
You've got to
Stay
get up
focused.
and want to go for
Years.
Not just days, not just when you feel like it.
That should encourage you. though.
Yeah.
I'm excited to go for years.
Me too.
Like 120 years.
We're going to live to 120.
We
We've already
keep saying
claimed it.
that.
We say it all the time. The power of your why is what gets you to stick through the grueling, mundane, and laborious.
All of the hows will be meaningless until your whys are powerful enough.
Okay, that's it. That's the talk of the day. Habits and the power of your why.
I hope this served you. I hope this was good.
It needs to give you something to think about.
Thank you for sharing, Iris. It's very kind of you.
There's no well, there is an Insta weight. There's instant gratification of the cake. It will choose the 1% worse, which over time will give you the 50 pounds of Insta.
Your biggest payoff will be when you can teach yourself delayed gratification.
Yeah, delayed gratification, living through the mundane, being okay with the same things, being okay with the simple choices. And if you don't have a big enough why, it's going to be easy to eat all of the food at Universal and then feel like garbage.
And I think the reality is sometimes, have you ever just made the one bad choice and then it spirals into an entire day?
Yeah.
I justified it because we were walking like crazy. It was a beautiful day out. It was sunny. And the butter
I wasn't even with them that
flowing.
day.
And for those of you who know,
split
it's
up.
not actually beer. I would never drink that. That tastes like hot pee. But the reality is butter beer is like
We're not
loaded
drinkers.
butterscotch root beer with cream on the top. So
If you've been to Universal, you probably know
I did
what it
put
is.
it in my Fitness Pal, but it was 200 calories, 43 carbs, all sugar. And I justified it because I also shared it with my daughters. But then when you have multiple, it's like, I really just had this. I'm just being honest with you all. So then it was basically just, I compounded the wrong effects.
So do you ever do something and you're like, ugh, I might as well just keep going all day because I'll just restart tomorrow?
Yeah, so learn from my mistake. That's where I should have said, aha, to be expected. I'm like surrounded by this stuff in Sugarland. I had to break my state. I needed to change my pattern. I kept making the wrong choices.
But I think people also need to understand, I don't even want to say wrong move. It was a choice. One choice doesn't define your entire day.
It's true.
It doesn't have to define your entire
It almost
day.
defined my life.
If you are listening
that
and
night.
you're like eating a donut, okay, finish it or put it in the garbage. It doesn't define the rest of your day.
It's true.
That's it. Like one blow up, one wrong choice, one whatever, it doesn't have to ruin the entire day because that's what your mindset went to. And then you're like, well, I'll just restart tomorrow. Or you can just go, okay.
I would say this too, though. If you ever found yourself there, if you can break that drama circle, that triangle, like as you're going down that negative tube,
Yeah.
if you can stop that, like stop sabotaging yourself, it's super important. Like if you can stop it then. But if it happens to carry it all day, just like let it be a thing in the past, okay? And then move forward. Focus on the years. Focus on where you're going, your values, your self-worth.
Just
all
picture
of
the
that
airplane.
stuff.
Like your life is like an airplane and
Right.
the choices that you make are going to get you to your target or really far away from your target. And it's up to you. And it's those little boring things
It's like
every
turbulence.
book that we read says, guess what? It's so fun to start something. It's so fun. And then you get to the middle and it's kind of mundane. And people message me all the time. I'm bored of eggs. I'm bored of the food that I'm eating. What happens when you get bored? Then you deviate a little bit, right? But you've got to be able to stick through the mundane. You've got to be able to stick through like the process to get to where you want to go. And it's going to be a year.
For all the fellas out there,
Right?
I mean, think about when you gas up your fancy vehicle. You're putting the same high premium gas in it all the time. You're not sticking the junk in it. Your body is worth more than those expensive vehicles.
Right.
We should feed it with the best.
Feed it with the best. All right. Thanks for sticking with us. It might have started off a little rough, but
I am so happy to see you happy now. This is.
listen,
Stephanie.
I wasn't not happy. You guys, I was processing. So if you watched the whole live, I was
You'll
processing.
see
If you
a
didn't
change
see
in
the
her state.
beginning,
I'd like to say it's
had
because
to-
of her mom fuel as well.
I had to process the morning. I was like, all right. Nobody likes to wake up with like having to fix a problem.
It's true.
It's not fun. But it is what it is. It's called life.
Yep.
So,
I'd encourage you to go to KetoMom Secrets, get Stephanie's mom fuel. Get it today. It's going to change your life.
hey, listen. If you have
Change your habits,
questions,
change your
please reach out with any questions that you have. Continue to tune into the page for any keto tips, tricks, recipes. You can go to ketomomsecrets.com. It's our blog. Lots of recipes on there. Otherwise, just send me a message. I would love to chat with you and answer some questions. So we hope you have an incredible day. Continue to tune in. I'll do a live this afternoon, and then you can see him tomorrow.
Me tomorrow.
Or maybe you'll talk about
Maybe
ketones
later.
later today.
Oh, I would love to.
Oh, we're going to Costco. Do you guys want us to share a Costco run with you?
Check out her stories. It's going to be on the
I'll-
stories.
It's too hard to go to live into Costco, so I'll just share on my Costco or my stories later about some really great finds at Costco.
All right. So for those of you who are listening to this, go check out Keto Mom Secrets.
Thanks
on
for tuning
Instagram.
in. Thanks for sharing. We'll talk to you soon.
See
Bye,
y'all.
everybody.
Have a great day.